And today isn't Genocide Remembrance Day, but it is about remembrance. And really, it's very difficult for me not to touch on a period of our history that's affected so many Armenians. I don't believe, personally, I don't believe that such suffering should be confined to one day a year. Because it's within me, it's within most of the Armenians here. It continues. History is who we are, why we are the way we are, and why we're here today. I mean, I didn't leave my home country to come here because it was a pleasure. We had to leave. It was a necessity. And those that don't remember the past are really condemned to repeat it. And you cannot find the future if you forget the past. And as for the future, the best way to determine it is by actively shaping the present now. I will read two statements by members of the Welsh Senate, 22 years apart. Very interesting. Sadly, very recently again we lost Jenny Randerson, a friend of the Armenians in Wales. This is what she said in 2001. Turkey can certainly be blamed for its modern denial of the Armenian genocide. And I say to representatives of the modern Turkish government who have sought to put pressure on me since I spoke out on this issue, that as someone who in the past life was a historian, I know how to judge evidence and weigh up the pros and cons and to judge where the truth lies. That's not me, that's Jenny Randerson, 2001. Then we come on to 2023. Claude Graphics MS published an article in the Western Mail. And he said, in Wales, we may not yet have full control over our international affairs, but we do have a voice. That's why it is incumbent on us to call out injustice whether it happened in the past. In the past, is happening now, or happens in the future, we have demonstrated this. In the way that Rodri Morgan, the then First Minister, laid flowers in the memory of the 1915 genocide of the victims. There was an explicit recognition of the Armenian genocide by the First Minister, Carwyn Jones, when he paid homage to the Armenian victims during Holocaust Memorial Commemoration. The Church in Wales followed suit soon after declaring April 24th as Armenian Genocide Day. These incremental steps are to be welcomed, but we can and should go much further. The Welsh Government needs to condemn the war of terror being waged on the Armenian people and make clear that it recognises the very real threat of another genocide taking place. It is the sword of Damocles hanging over all of us Armenians all the time. The aggressors are just round the corner. Wherever you go in Armenia, you are within rifle shot of the enemy. International policy should reflect our values. This is Plaque Unveiling saying this. International policy should reflect our values, and our past can inform and inspire our future. I hope that the sentiments expressed will one day come to fruition. So those are 22 years apart, two members of the Senate speaking about the Armenians. So I think I'm done for the day. I've tried to put things into context, I hope. And I'm going to ask now Lord Mayor Helen Lloyd-Jones to speak, and then afterwards His Excellency Navuzhan Nersesyan, our ambassador. After that, we will make a presentation. Alice and myself will be making a presentation to the three Welshmen. And Sorry, Amelia, and Welsh women as well. And then after that, we will have the presentation by Maestro Sipan Olah for the music pre and post-genocide, as a flavour of how genocide can affect everything.
Thank you, John. How do I follow that? First of all, good afternoon from Houndar, as we say in Welsh, and we also say a very warm welcome, Croeso Nersesyan. We're sorry we couldn't bring the sunshine, but we still really want you to feel welcome here. And I'd like to also extend a very warm welcome to His Excellency Navuzhan Nersesyan. He's the ambassador of the Republic of Armenia to the United Kingdom and Northern Ireland. And also I would like to say welcome Jessica Morgan MP, who has come out of her constituency to join us here, and it's lovely to see you. Thank you so much. I'm also delighted. I've just had a chat with Elian Williams already. He's tucked away at the back last time I saw him. Oh no, he's coming to the front now. Stephen Thomas. Where's Stephen? There's
Stephen.
And there's Amelia Hugh Morgan in the back with two young ladies who represent three of the named individuals on the plaque that Jessica and I unveiled a few months ago. Welcome to you all. The links between Wales and Armenia stretch far back into history. However, the connection was strengthened in 1895 when former Prime Minister Gladstone came out of retirement to address public meetings in support of the Armenians who were being systematically massacred. He said to have remarked that to serve Armenia is to serve civilization. The Armenians, grateful for his intervention and for highlighting their suffering, donated a silver chalice and a stained glass memorial window to St Daniel's Church in Gladstone's hometown of Homodium in Flintshire. They also presented him with an illuminated gospel book which resides in his library. In 1915, at the height of World War I, the Ottoman authorities attempted to annihilate the Armenian population. And was the British government condemning these crimes against humanity, this declaration was not followed up by action. Despite the reluctance of the United Kingdom government since that time to recognise the events of 1915 as genocide, Wales has taken a different view. In 2000, the majority of the members of the Welsh Assembly called for the recognition of the 1915 genocide of the Armenian people, and in 2001 this atrocity was included in the Holocaust Memorial Day event here in Cardiff that actually takes place in the Temple of Peace. In 2004, Gwynedd County Council voted unanimously to recognise the Armenian genocide, and a plaque was later placed in the County Hall in Cardiff. In 2007, a memorial cash card, which is the cross stone with the word genocide written in Armenian, Welsh and English, was unveiled in the garden here, which you've just seen this afternoon at the Temple of Peace by the then Speaker, the Llywydd of the Welsh Assembly, Lord David L. Thomas. We always tend to call him David L., who very sadly passed away earlier this month. This is the first ever memorial to the Armenian genocide on public ground in the United Kingdom. In 2013, the Church in Wales recognised the 24th of April as Armenian Genocide Day. To mark this momentous occasion, a bilingual liturgy was written by Canon Patrick Thomas and Bishop Vahan Nersesyan, to whom we give thanks. 2 years later, a full-size bronze memorial sculpture was presented to St David's Cathedral in Pembrokeshire by the Welsh Armenians in gratitude for their recognition. In doing so, they were following the tradition set by their ancestors who had presented gifts to Gladstone's church some 120 years previously. It is clear that Wales has been at the forefront of the fight to recognise and support the fight of the Armenian people. And we continue that support today with the unveiling of a plaque to commemorate the 110th anniversary of those awful atrocities that took place in 1915. Thank you all for coming here. Jochen Var, I wish it wasn't necessary. I wish we could just get rid of all the genocides that have ever happened. I think our dream is a world when people are kind to one another. Thank you so much for coming.
His Excellency Nersesyan, say a few words.
Thank you very much, John. Distinguished Lord Mayor Helen Jones, my dear friend, head of the APPG for Armenia, Jessica Morden. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I wanted to wholeheartedly thank John Nersesyan and the Welsh Armenian community for organizing today's solemn commemoration and unveiling just several minutes ago the plaque next to Armenian Khachkar, dedicated to the memory of 1.5 million Armenian victims of the genocide in the Ottoman Empire. And I wanted, on behalf of my government, first of all, to thank Welsh people and Welsh Assembly for the recognition, first time in history, for historic recognition of the genocide of Armenians. This is a historic fact, and we wanted to express our full and wholehearted appreciation to the Welsh people. That cross stone just in the yard of this beautiful temple, which I understand is called Temple of Peace, symbolizes the friendship and strong bonds between Armenian and Welsh people. Even the color, which is very close to the color of Armenian tufa stone and Welsh slate, is also blended expression of our friendship and solidarity. Today, Armenia is navigating against the strong challenges of geopolitics in our region. It is extremely important to not only the recognition of Armenian genocide, the campaign for recognition of Armenian genocide is not only important for the past atrocities, but also for the prevention of modern day, as we witness in our modern day world attempts of genocide in front of our eyes. The Republic of Armenia conducts a strong campaign for the prevention of genocide. As an Armenian nation, as a nation that suffered immensely. This is the first genocide that set an unfortunate precedent, and even it was on this case that the international lawyer Raphael Lemkin coined the term genocide. It was on the sad precedent of the Armenian genocide. That's why the Armenian people expressed their deep appreciation to all those that recognize the pain of the Armenian people. But this is also a strong solidarity, a partnership to form a coalition for prevention of future atrocities. So I wanted to really thank and to express my deep thanks to the Welsh people and to express my very hope and confidence that these strong bonds are going to be even stronger between Armenia and Welsh people, especially that we have a great friend of Armenia, Jessica Morden, in the British Parliament, who, as the chairwoman of Armenian Caucus, has done a fantastic job to promote both UK-Armenia ties and Armenian-Welsh ties and supports Armenia in any way. Today, Armenia and UK work strongly on strengthening their relations. Armenia as a democracy is recognized by Western governments, by United Kingdom, to further strengthen its security and to work with all those friends and allies to strengthen the cause of peace. So once again, I wanted to thank John for his excellent job and all the Welsh Armenian community. This is a small community, but I can assure you a very vibrant and dynamic community that does an excellent job for this solemn commemoration. Today we are entering, this year we are going to commemorate the 110th anniversary of the Armenian genocide, and this is perhaps one of the first events we're starting the year, and we'll be hosting a number of other events in London. Once again, I wanted to thank everyone for your presence and your support, and to say, if my Welsh is correct, Dilo Welsh people, Dilo Wales. Thank you so much.
Nothing happens without Alice. As I keep saying, right-hand person is Alice. No problem, no issues whatsoever. She's done a few things, and I'm going to ask her to present the compilation of the community efforts over the past few years. She can explain better than you. We have 3 printed copies of the plaque for Emilia, Stephen, and Elian. We also have the original Welsh invitation, very rare, which we've put into sandwich in heat seal. So, but before we do that, I would like, because Alice spent a huge, enormous amount of time putting this together, and I will ask her to explain what it's all about.
I can just show you what it is. This is a compiled book of our journey, which we called it Echoes of Justice, a Welsh and Armenian journey, which compiled all the journey that we have done through since 2000, and all the important people that have made all the journey and walked with us are in here. And I would like to thank especially those 3 people, starting from Elian Williams, Stephen Thomas, and Fan and Patrick Thomas. And we have compiled the debates, lectures, and the Welsh Assembly and publications that have happened, and the idea for that brought again Elian Williams. And I'd like to thank him greatly. So this is something to commemorate, and it will hopefully will go on.
So if I can ask Elian, Stephen, and Emilia, if your hands are free, Emilia. If not, we can bring it to you to come up if we can. Thank you very much. And I'm not sure if you're not going to see him before Easter,
Yeah.
I'm happy to take those for him. But if you're going to see him before,
We might.
take him. I think it's best to take him. Thank you very much, Emilia. Thank you from the bottom of our heart. You know that anyway. And thank you, Stephen. Thank you very much. I know everybody's pressed for time, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to hand you to Sipan Olah, Maestro Sipan Olah. He is from the Klingon Choir. You have experienced his music in St. Germans twice last year, and he will give a short presentation on the music pre and post genocide.
Worshipful Mayor, Your Excellencies, and ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm Sipan Olah, conductor, tenor and artistic director of KCCA, a registered charity in England and Wales. I'd like to discuss the origins and development of Armenian classical music in the 19th and early 20th centuries. Armenian composers navigated a complex musical landscape. Some innovated by breaking traditional rules, while others worked within them to express our ethnicity and national uniqueness. A key challenge was deciphering Armenian Khaz notation, a medieval system for recording sacred and folk music. While previous attempts yield limited results, Komitas successfully decoded the Khaz system through meticulous study of ancient manuscripts and live performances. This groundbreaking work was essential to preserving Armenian musical heritage. The 20th century's first genocide, claiming over 1.5 million Armenian lives, deeply affected composers like Komitas. Yet the Armenian spirit preserved, expressing itself through art. Composers like Aram Khachaturian blended Armenian folk traditions with European style, achieving global recognition and making Armenians proud. During the 19th century, Armenia was divided between the Ottoman and the Russian empires. The Ottoman Empire had no structured musical institutions at the time, and Armenian musicians dominated its early professional scene. Moreover, music played a vital role in preserving Armenian national identity despite Sultan Abdulhamid II's repressive policies against the Armenian population of the Ottoman Empire. One of these policies reportedly included restrictions on the use of the Armenian language, especially in schools and public spaces. The Ottoman government viewed Armenian cultural identity and language as a threat to state unity. By the mid-century, Russian Empire records about Western Armenia indicate that 85 of 96 renowned musicians were Armenian. Karabet Papazian established the first Western Armenian musical ensemble in Constantinople, significantly raising the profile of musical art. He was the organizer and head of the first Armenian theatrical orchestra in Constantinople and was frequently invited to conduct European-style orchestral performances of compositions by European musicians. All over Western Armenia, there were more than 50 orchestras which vanished without any track after the Armenian genocide. Several musical periodicals like Arevelian Knar, Oriental Deer, published in 1858, which was the first to use European notation in the Ottoman Empire, and Knar Haydagan, Armenian Deer, published in 1861, further disseminated musical knowledge. Tigran Chukhajian played a pivotal role in the development of musical theatre in the Middle East. The first operas and musical theatres in the region emerged in Constantinople through the efforts of Western Armenians, and Chukhajian was central to this movement. Educated in Italy, he was one of the first composers of the Ottoman Empire, working in nearly every musical genre. His compositions include 3 operas, Artak II, Zalim, and Indiana, and the Operetta Arif 1872, also known as Galine or Leblebiji Hortorava. He also composed 2 chamber and symphonic orchestras, wrote piano and other instrumental pieces, songs and romances, choral works, and background music for theatrical productions. Beyond composing, Chukhajian was a music critic, contributing articles to the Armenian Dir Knar Haydagan. Recognizing Çukacan's influence, Mahmut Rahip noted that he was the first composer to bridge Turkish music and European art. The flourishing musical scene of this period led to the formation of musical groups in Western Armenia and other Armenian communities within the Ottoman Empire. Music inclusion as a required subject in Armenian schools further fostered the emergence of talented musicians. Christopher Karamurza introduced choral music to Armenian culture. Educated in Crimea, Karamurza arranged over 300 choral pieces based on Armenian folk music, a significant innovation given Armenian musicians' traditionally monophonic nature, opposite to European four-voice polyphony. Christopher Karamurza established approximately 90 choral groups in 50 cities, both Armenian and non-Armenian. These locations spanned a wide geographical area, including Tbilisi, Baku, Echmiadzin, Nakhchivan-on-Don, Odessa, Batumi, Moscow, Kars, Shushi, and Constantinople, among others. His tireless work culminated in over 250 concerts featuring a total of 5,000 participants. Western Armenians contributed to the musical landscape not only as musicians, performers, composers, and educators, but also as skilled instrumental makers. Kerove Zildjian, 1830 to 1910, stands out as a master craftsman whose cymbals factory earned him worldwide fame. His cymbals were celebrated for surpassing European counterparts in quality, tonal richness, and durability. The Zildjian family's cymbal-making tradition dates back to 1623 in Constantinople. After the genocide, the Zildjian family fled to the USA and established the Avedis Zildjian Company in Quincy, Massachusetts. Today, it is recognized as the world's leading producer of cymbals with esteemed annual revenue of up to $15 million. Another prominent figure in Armenian classical and spiritual music was Magar Yekmalyan, a native of Balashapad, Echmiadzin. He taught music notation at the Gevorkyan Armenian Theological Seminary, established there in 1874. Yekmalyan's studies at the St. Petersburg Conservatory under the tutelage of Anatoly Lyadov and Rimsky-Korsakov exposed him to the intercases of European and international musical traditions. After considerable effort, in 1895, the Yekmalyan liturgy, with the support of His Holiness Christian Haile Catholicus, was finally published in Armenian and French in versions for 3-voice male choir, 4-voice male choir, and 4-voice mixed choirs. This publication marked a revolution in Armenian church music, and Yekmalyan's liturgy has since become an integral part of Armenian religious practice. Beyond his sacred music, Yekmalyan also documented and composed numerous folk, traditional, and patriotic songs for both adults and children. Solomon Solomonian, known as Komitas, was a pivotal figure in Armenian classical music. Priest, composer, conductor, singer, ethnomusicologist, teacher, and musicologist, he is considered one of the main founders of the modern Armenian classical tradition. Orphaned at 10, he was selected from a group of hundreds of children to study at the Gevorkyan Armenian Theological Seminary in Echmiadzin, later graduated from the Berlin Conservatory with a doctorate in musicology. He traveled extensively, meticulously recording Armenian folk songs and tunes, amazing significant collection including pagan songs, epic narratives like Sasunci David and Mogats Mirza, Antoniner, songs about emigrants, spiritual hymns, divine liturgy, piano pieces, over 4,000 folk songs, arrangements for choirs and solo performers, and fragments from opera Amush. While Armenian church music was traditionally monophonic, Komitas created polyphonic arrangements. His most significant work, the Badarak, Divine Liturgy, exists in 6 versions, the most popular being the 4-voice male choir, which was the favorite of the composer. Komitas managed to decode the medieval khas system, notation through thorough study of ancient scripts and performances. Komitas founded numerous ensembles, most notably the 312-member Busan Choir in Constantinople. During my concert trip in Lebanon in 2023, I discovered that the mentioned choir still exists today in Lebanon, its members descendants of survivors of the Armenian genocide. Komitas himself suffered a mental breakdown after witnessing the horrors of the 1915 genocide and is considered a victim. The Armenian genocide, organized by the Young Turks government during World War I, devastated Armenian musical life, claiming many musicians' lives and disbanding musical groups. Despite this immense loss, Armenian classical music, rooted in rich heritage, has endured. Through the work of composers like Komitas, Karamuzda, Chukhajian, Yekmanian, and Khajaturian, and many others, and despite historic tragedies, Armenian music continues to be a powerful expression of cultural identity and resilience. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. It was a great honor to present this short talk about the Armenian classical music before and after Armenian genocide in a short context. And now I would like to invite our Kenyan vocal quartet to perform a few songs by Karamuzda, Yekmalian, and Komitas, especially for you now. Piece from Komitas, Holy to catch during his visits to different Armenian villages. Morning of light. The following song is called Le O Lele. There is no translation for this word. It's the same word like John. Maybe some the people here heard about that word. It's just an expression about some joy, some happiness. So it's written by Christopher Karamurza, a folk piece arranged for all voice ensemble.
Le daralacak daralo, aç kestirun daralacak daralo.
Another folk piece called Yarcan Ali, My Dear, Come to Me. A piece about love and beauty. Finally, the last song, again by our Komitas, called Arnem et Tam in Yada. I'll go to the mountain with my love. As you know, Armenia is a mountainous country, and Wales has some mountains as well, despite England. So there are lots of things that unite and gives us some memories about our country when we are here in beautiful Wales.